Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Reserve Report, your source for what's going on locally and around the Reserve. I'm your host, Lance Corporal Ian Leonis. Changes may be underway for the Marine Corps Basic Marksmanship Qualification. MARADMIN 451/14 announced the proposed changes of the 2014 Combat Marksmanship Symposium held in April. Among the recommendations are plans to update the tables of fire, adoption of new targets, and a new uniform device for the Marine Corps' top shooters. In other news, the Marine Corps is making it easier for Marines in the selected Marine Corps Reserve to fill critical billets at geographically isolated reserve units. The inactive duty training program gives travel reimbursements to Marines traveling more than 150 miles from their home to fill billets matching their grade in MOS. Check out MARADMIN 489/14 for more information. In our first story, Marines maintain their combat readiness as they near the end of the combat mission in Afghanistan.
Bradley C. Weston, Battalion Commander for 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines. Operations Watkins Glen was part of the overall defense of Bastion Leatherneck Complex. And it's our forwardmost elements going out and disrupting the enemy in and about the areas that surround this complex.
After about 5 or so minutes, if nothing suspicious happens, we'll probably just let them go.
Recently, after closing PB Boldak, we drew a lot of our forces out of the battle space. So the message we wanted to send the enemy is that even though we may not be living out in the battle space, we still have the capability of going out and affecting the battle space with our forces. So what we wanted to do is get Charlie Company back out there to do just that, affect the battle space with the amount of force that we have. The second piece of it was not only were we going to get out in the battle space and affect it, but we're going to spend some time out there. We have the capability of spending 4 to 5 days, if we need to, out in the battle space and fighting the enemy, and that's exactly what we did during Watkins Glen. Well, I think the Marines and sailors continue to perform extremely well. It's a tough mission. We have a lot of constraints on rules of engagement and the ROE. It's just very tough for the Marines to perform and do well, and they take those constraints and they do extremely well in employing their weapon systems appropriately. So I couldn't ask more from the Marines and the sailors. They're doing great stuff. I think we always take pride in our Marines, whether we think it's a success or not. We ask a lot from these young guys. We tell them to go out and face an enemy and make life and death decisions, and they do an amazing job. So to say that I'm happy or I'm sad is not really appropriate. It's just I'm proud of the Marines and the sailors. They're performing in a professional manner, and they're getting the job done. I couldn't ask more from them. But if things go as they have been, I think come the end of this mission, 1-2 will be extremely successful, and they'll be remembered for such. And we'll go down in history as being the last infantry battalion to close out Afghanistan for the Marine Corps, and I think that'll be a great thing. I know families probably get worried knowing that their young Marine or sailors out there fighting the bad guys, but they don't need to be worried. They've got each other backing each other up, and they've got the skills to be successful, and they're doing just that. So the families can rest assured that the Marines will continue to do a great job. We'll be home soon.
Our last story profiles a wounded Marine veteran with the Wounded Warrior Regiment who participated in the 2014 Wounded Warrior Games, September 26th to October 4th.
My name is Andre Burgos. I'm at Colorado Springs, Colorado, training for the Warrior Games of 2014. My favorite event will have to be the one that I'm best at, which is the air rifle, followed by the pistol and then archery. I will say, however, the one that I want to succeed the most in is archery because of the fact that I recognize it as being my weakest sport, so a success in that would mean more. What I get out of the training from the practices is the fact that it allows me to take focus off of the negative aspects of my disability and focus on the more positive aspects of what I can still do. Along with the additional camaraderie shared from the Marines around me, we're able to focus more on that continued drive and seeking the challenge that makes us Marines. Especially with the archery. Archery is my weakest out of the 3 sports. I try to come in every single day, try to get as much as I can from the coaches, and try to apply as much of it so that when I compete, I'm actually being competitive, and I'm giving anybody, whether it's fellow Marines or other branches, a good run for their money. Aside from the camaraderie, I like the continued challenge. The fact that I know that I'm not just competing against an athlete, I'm competing against a service member that represents a lot more than just themselves. This is not a place where people come to seek selfish endeavors. This is a place where people come to not only represent themselves, but represent their branch. So that to me makes it represent a lot more and makes it more meaningful of a competition. Wounded Warriors has helped me by allowing me to continue to regain some of the things that I had lost after the disability, again focusing on the challenges and overcoming the challenges. We succeed based off of our ability to overcome situations that are difficult and that a typical person may not be able to overcome. So to be able to come here, see a challenge, take on a challenge, that's the best effect that the Warrior Games has on me.
That does it for this edition of the Reserve Report. As always, for more news, photos, and videos, check out our website at www.mar4res.marines.mil. I'm Lance Corporal Ian Leonis. Thanks for watching.